All right. Thank you everyone for joining in this webinar. Today we have our VP of Growth, Neha Sankhe, who shall be taking us through ERPNext. He will take a use case and demonstrate of how we can map it in ERPNext. So let me give you a bit background about Neha. She has over 7 years of work experience working with BCG and ClearTax before joining Frappe, and comes with a lot of experience with regard to consulting, product strategy, management. Currently, she leads the product growth at Frappe and looks into go-to-market strategies and product marketing for Frappe. So we welcome her and appreciate her efforts in putting together for us this webinar. So over to you, Neha. Maybe you can speak a bit about yourself before we start, and then we can dive into the discussion.
Sure. Thanks, Ankita, for a wonderful introduction. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for making the time to attend this webinar on ERPNext. Today, we'll be demoing the whole product. At least it will be a breadth first overview of most of the important modules. And before we begin, since we are a lot of 20 odd people, would be great if you can even send out a quick introduction in the chat section. And I'll also do a quick poll so that I can know which industry are you from, and what module do you want to focus on in today's demo. So right now you'll see a poll in front of you. Please answer it. It has 3 questions. Wonderful. I think we have a lot of responses, close to 10. So I can see we have a mixed bag of manufacturing services companies, and I think it's going towards services. I can also see there's a mixed bag of modules people are interested in, but I think CRM is clearly something that most people need, and inventory stock, followed by sales, and then followed by manufacturing payroll. All right. And great. Thanks a lot for submitting your responses. I'll end the poll, and I think that will flash the responses in front of you as well. So today, let's maybe start. What I had in mind is we'll take an example of a trading company. So we'll cover inventory, stock, procurement, sales, and followed by manufacturing, a very quick example of a very simple manufacturing use case. And if time permits, we can do an overview of payroll and HR. So that's how I'm thinking this will be the most effective 1 hour spent. The format of this demo is, if you have any very contextual question at the end of that section, you can ask that. And if you have a very unrelated question, I think it would be better if you ask it towards the end in the Q&A. So let's get started. So first, let's begin with a very quick introduction to Frappe for those of you new. So we've been around for last 15 years. We've been building wonderful open source products, and ERPNext is just one of them. By now, we have close to 10,000 customers, more than 50,000 GitHub stars put all together, but just ERPNext has 16,000 GitHub stars. We have more than 180 partners. This is not updated. And just like ERPNext, we are soon a multi-product company. So we have a bunch of other products, specialized products into support, HR, and so on. And 3 things that you can probably keep in mind about our products is they are extremely user-friendly. And ERPNext, let's be here. So it's very user-friendly, and open source ensures there's no licensing fee. So your recurring SaaS fee reduces and slashes significantly. And it's very extensible, which means you can easily integrate it, you can easily customize it to suit your requirements, and so on. So talking about next, this is a heavy slide, but it kind of gives you a very, very broad bird's eye overview of all the granular features that are there in ERP Next, all the way from finance and accounting, manufacturing, sales, CRM, stock, procurement, project management, and support. This doesn't cover HR and payroll, but anything that you can expect in a enterprise grade ERP system is available in ERP Next and more. And we'll talk about it during the demo. And not just that, since it is built on top of the Frappe framework, ERP Next is extremely API friendly. All the screens are mobile friendly, which makes it extremely helpful to do your business transactions on the go. We have granular roles and permissions, approval workflows, customizability in reports, in forms, and the company is like multi-subsidiary, multi-currency, everything is supported, as well as we have a very comprehensive document management. As I spoke to you about extensibility, right? So the framework extends itself to very easy integrations with third-party applications, be it your banks, be it other e-commerce apps for managing your sales, or it could be B2B apps such as IndiaMart for managing your B2B sales. It could be Slack integration, Telegram integration, and bunch of other important integrations. Anything is possible. And basically, this helps you, the open source product helps you become ready for the future growth. So you don't have to worry about today I have 100 users or today I have 500 users. Tomorrow I could be bigger. And per user per month kind of licensing fees makes you question, is the product scalable for my future needs? So you don't have to worry about that, because with open source, you can host on your own or choose Frappe Cloud, and in none of those cases you will be pinched with your growing users and your growing employees and your growth. So let's dive into the demo. I'll first just quickly splash this slide. This is a slightly India heavy slide of all our large enterprise customers across different industries. So some noteworthy customers include Zerodha. In manufacturing, we have Multicolor Steel. Uh, we have Vodafone UK using us for SIM card distribution. Similarly, we have Servify, which is a very large scale company. They've been using us for the last 3 years. Any questions, feel free to mute and please go ahead and ask. Okay, great. Let's get started with the demo, which is what we are here for. Let me first give you an introduction of the company. I have kind of it helps to have a company in mind. So let's say we have a company called Noah Polytech. They are into polymer trading, and they have a rough scale of around 500 crore revenue, 1,000 invoices. Today they use Tally, and clearly, if they're using a very SMB ERP, profitability, knowing your true profitability is a big challenge that most companies face, right? So specifically in trading companies, the price fluctuations are too high. So basically, you can't really gather if you're making a per unit profit or not. So that's a big pain that most people face. There's also poor efficiency. So there's a frequent stockouts, lost orders, or delayed orders. All of that is a problem. And a lot of trading companies are either importing heavily or exporting heavily. So there's a lot of delay that can happen in those processes, and these can lead to a business loss. Similarly, delivering on the committed timelines to the customer, in fact, before that is important to such companies. There is predictability, compliances, and a whole bunch of challenges that these companies face. So let's just keep this persona in mind as we dive into the demo. So I hope you all can see my screen. Let's get started with the demo. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Great, awesome. Awesome. So when you log into ERPNext, you will see a screen which looks like this. All of the modules on the left are available as soon as you start using any of our plans, including the $10 per month plan on Frappe Cloud. So you don't have to pay anything per module or per user. So what you see here is the sidebar. Here we have some help documentation which can help you get access to our docs, get understanding of which version are you using. If you're getting a free trial, you'll always be on the latest version if you're getting a free trial on the web, and so on and so forth. So let's dive into some masters right now. Let's start with the company master. So I'll move from the list view to the tree view because visualizing a tree view is much easier. So with ERPNext, you can have multiple entities. You can have multiple entities set up. Each of this entity can have its own country, default currency defined, and so on and so forth. Multi-company basically helps you can. How many of you, by the way, have multi-company setup? Please do comment so that I can gauge who are we talking to. Now let's look at the item master. In addition to having default currency, you can even have default accounts so that your accountant doesn't have to enter all of these general ledger accounts for every transaction. The default accounts will automatically appear, reducing all kinds of manual errors or inaccuracies that happen at the end of the month during book closing. So all of those defaults can be set up related to your company. So let's go to item master, a very heart of a manufacturing or a distribution company. So this is the list view of all the items. Let me switch to image view. If you have images for your items, you can have a grid of all the items that are defined in your system. So let's take one of these items, for example. So ERPNext has, I would say, very rich and very comprehensive item management module. So as you can see, some of the capabilities possible are you can have default unit of measurement, but your selling and your buying unit of measurement can be different. So a lot of times people could buy in, say, kgs, but sell in metric ton or the other way around, right? Similar examples can happen in other packaging industries as well. So all of that can be set up. Similarly, let me show you this dashboard. So this is a intelligent dashboard which gives you all the transactions related to that item in one single view. So if you have any sales orders, any purchase orders, anything related to the item, you can directly click here and land on those sales orders and check the status of those sales orders. In fact, you can even get a bird's eye view of your stock level directly from here. So as you can see, there's a stock level that this is showing that in the store's inventory, I have 0 stock right now, but I have orders of 2,000 units already placed. Right. Similarly, some of the other very quick overview, because this can go very deep and we have less time. You can enable barcodes. You can set auto reorder levels. So if you are facing stockouts, auto reorders levels will help ensure that you are reordering as soon as you reach a minimum quantity. You can enable batch numbers, serial numbers, all of that is possible. Similarly, with variants, you can create multiple variants. If you have, for example, in case of, say, polymers, you have multiple grades of the same polymer. All of that, you can create those as attributes and create multiple items. So what happens is if you make a change in the master, all the items get updated with that change. So that's a benefit of using variants. This is applicable for clothing industry as well, for sizes, as well as mobile industry for multiple, say, multiple GBs of storage, etc. Then there is a bunch of other very relevant features, and we can skip through that and we can just dive into, say, the supplier master. So the supplier master and customer master is also very comprehensive and rich. One of the features we have is, at least in India, for people who are joining from India, we have a very closely integrated GST module. So as soon as you enter a GSTN while creating a new supplier, all the details are auto-filled. In fact, every based on the set frequency, it could be daily, it could be 15 days, every week, you can check the active status of that GSTI. And it's especially useful if you're dealing with very unorganized suppliers or customers, because as soon as the GSTN is inactive, it increases your risks as a buyer or a seller to deal with that customer, right? So let me just change the name of this supplier and save it. So I think people who joined from India just got a quick overview of how GST compliant ERPNext is, and I'll show flashes of that during the demo as well. So stay tuned. So now let's get started with the sales cycle. So typical sales cycle starts from the CRM. So let me first open the CRM module. So typically, sales process starts from a lead. A lead could be a phone call or an email that just came to you. So you can integrate this lead doc type with your email, and every new email coming to your sales email ID gets created as a lead here. And it can be automatically assigned to a specific person in your sales team. So those auto assignment rules are extremely easy to set up. So once you have a lead created, you can set, in fact, you can even have integration with India Mart or any other tools to get leads automatically created here and proceed from here. So from a typical lead, you can proceed to create a opportunity out of it, right? So an opportunity is someone who's a little more qualified and you have more details. Maybe there's a few discussions that have been already done, and you can keep updating the status of whether it is in quotation stage, whether it is converted, lost, replied, etc. So let's say I mark it as converted and save. So in the opportunity list view, you can track all of your status of all your opportunities very easily. You can, in fact, also ensure your sales team conversations are tracked right here itself. So in the activity tab, if you send an email directly from here, and if the customer replies from here, all of those emails are easy to trace directly from here. So you can ensure that you can have a view of all the email conversations happening with the customer. A sales head or a CEO can directly track it from here, right? So after a typical, opportunity is created, you would ideally want to create a quotation for it. So let's start from a quotation cycle. Um, so I have a draft quotation already created, or maybe let me create a new quotation to show you the whole flow. So let's take a a customer which is already exists in the system, and let's place an order for this particular polymer grade, quantity of 50, right? And as you can see, the GST is already pulled out. The reason it has automatically applied the GST rate is because you have set up the tax templates and you have the address saved for the customer, which is Mumbai. And since the main company is Mumbai and the customer company is Mumbai, it has applied the intra-state GST automatically. So once you have the quotation, you can save it. You can even have an approval workflow for amounts greater than, say, 10,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees and so on. And here you go, your quotation is created and it is in an open state. So you can directly take a print of this quotation. So this here I have designed a very simple print template for a quotation to be sent to the customer. You can define your own print templates in a no-code, low-code format very easily from here. We have a print designer, and through that you can change this format. You can add your terms and conditions. And either you can print this or you can directly email from here to the customer. So you can directly send an email from here. And most people don't have a quotation process, right? Most people directly create a sales order. So for now, let's create a sales order from the quotation, and let's communicate the delivery date by end of the month and save. So now from here, I have set up an approval workflow in sales order. So if I go into the sales order list, you can see that there are a bunch of approved as well as unapproved sales orders. So because I have all the admin rights, I am getting the approve process as well. You can approve via email, you can approve via mobile, you can approve via multiple modes. And it's very easy to set up approval processes based on, say, the value of the or maybe specific customers you want to have approval for, etc., etc. All that is possible. So now the sales order is approved. Now comes the time to email it to your customer. So let me just put my email ID here. And what's interesting about this is, to save your time, we have something called as email templates. And email templates is relevant for all kinds of email you send. So you can have multiple email templates set up so that you don't really have to type the email again. And as you can see, the email intelligently adds the name of the customer, the order ID. In fact, you can add in things like the items that you need. You can have the email body include most of the important things, as well as the attachment of your sales order in whichever print format that you want based on whatever you've defined, and you can send it out. So this is visible down here. So this is the email sent to your customer. And if any replies come up, you will be able to see here itself. So that was sales order. And I think from here, the whole process of creating a delivery note, creating the sales invoice, followed by your payment entry, all of that is easily possible here. In the interest of time, let me pause. I've been speaking for a long time. Let me pause here and take questions.
Yeah, Neha, I think there's a very interesting question by Anthony. Is it possible to trigger a task in a project when a particular service item is sold? For example, when a home painting service has been invoiced, a task will be added into the painting project. This way, the staff will know that they have to contact the customer to get more details. Can the above be set up by the administrator using some no code?
This is a very specific question. Let me go through it again. Is it possible to trigger a task in a project when a particular service item is sold? Okay, understood. I think there can be scripts to define this. This is possible. But this is a very specific question. So maybe Anthony, you can reach out to us over email and I can get back to you on exactly how this is possible. It wouldn't be no code. I think this specific query will not be no code. It will be low code for sure. So you'll have to write a very basic script for you to enable this specific thing. A bunch of other things are no code, right? For example, at least for projects module, if you want to have certain billing milestones created, right? So for example, if your project is 50% complete, then you want to create the billing milestones. All that is automatically possible in the projects module. But what you're asking is a little more specific for no code. Yeah, Umer is already here, so maybe we can get him to answer.
Also,
Any
there
other
is
question?
yeah, yeah, Umesh,
Uh,
please go ahead.
yeah, a quick thing would be is basically in sales order, we have something called order type. And in the order type, if you select maintenance order, then the next steps which you see again sales order are a bit different. There you can basically create a maintenance schedule and maintenance visit. So if you are in a kind of service which requires you to do, let's say, after sales installation of a machine, plant, AC, kind of a thing, then creating a sales order of type maintenance would be useful, which will give you different steps as compared to the sales order type of sales. Yeah, so maintenance is what I'm talking about.
Got it. Thanks, Umer.
There's another question by Sabrina. Is it possible to change a quotation after submitting the document, or do I have to cancel the quotation and create a new one?
So
Cancel
there
the.
are both the things are possible. So if we do have a process where you can amend an existing quotation as well. Both are possible. You can cancel and recreate, or you can amend an existing one. Any other questions?
I think we can move forward. Neha, there are no other
All right.
questions in the chat box.
Great, great. I think Prajesh Narayanan is trying to raise his hand. You can go ahead and ask if it's very contextual to the CRM and sales module we covered. You can ask that question right now. Okay, then let's continue. Now let's cover the procurement cycle. So we just created a sales order. Let me open the sales order we just created, right? So we just created a sales, one second, sales order. And this is an interesting thing, right? As soon as you punch a sales order and you see a red dot here, which means the stock is not available. And this is a clear indicator for you that, hey, there is some, you may need to inform your purchasing team to procure this item. So we have the whole process of creating an internal material request followed by a purchase order, but let's now directly jump to a purchase order. So we've placed an order of this particular grade of granules, TPP, and let's create a purchase order for it. So this is the list view of the purchase order. So you can land on the purchase order both from the buying module here, from the buying module to the purchase order. But I typically use the search bar on top, which is very easy. Immediately you can land on any doc type, any customer, any item name, anything directly from here itself. So this is very useful. So this is the list view of my purchase orders. And I have customized it a little bit, so it might look a little different from your plain vanilla purchase order, because I've added percentage billed, percentage received, all of these columns here. So let's create a purchase order. So since I'm an importing company, I'll in this use case, I'll take an example of a foreign supplier who's going to provide me with this item. Let me just switch my Wi-Fi. There was an issue, so let me just connect to the right Wi-Fi. Ankita, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Great, thanks. Okay, great. Now the connection is better, I hope. Great. So let's place an order for, say, let's place an order for 2000 quantities of this item. Ideally, the rate comes up from your standard pricing list, but since this is probably the first time I'm procuring this item, I'm asked to set the rate on my own. Okay, I think this is not the right supplier. Let me take the foreign supplier so that we have USD rates. All right, great. So okay, great. So here is a purchase order. Let's save it. Let's submit it. Yeah, and just like your sales orders, you can directly email it to your suppliers directly from the portal itself. I'll quickly punch in all the other subsequent entries of purchase receipt, which is similar to goods receipt. So you can directly accept all the quantities or do partial receipts and do multiple receipts for one purchase order. Both of that is possible. In this example, I'm taking a one single purchase receipt for a purchase order and save. Perfect. So my purchase receipt is created. I can directly view the impact on my stock ledger by clicking from the purchase receipts itself. If I click on the stock ledger impact, this says that 2000 quantities are inwarded into the store's warehouse, right? So you can easily view the stock impact directly from the purchase receipt. Now comes the next step. Let's yeah, I think now let's go back to the purchase order. There's something else that I wanted to show. So one of the things is you don't have to go to the list of your purchase orders and go back to the purchase order. We have the connection board to directly go to the purchase order related to this purchase invoice. So this is very useful. You can directly land on that respective purchase order, right? So now you can see the item dot is green. Now this item dot will be green everywhere if you're creating a sales invoice, if you're creating a sales order, anywhere, because you already inverted the 2000 quantity that are required, right? So you have that quantity available. So this was just to show you. Another thing I have is because this particular customer was heavily importing, I have customized one section here very easily through the low code, no code form customize option we have. So if you click on any form, right? Currently I'm on the purchase order, but if you click on any form and go to the three dots here and click on customize, you will be able to see a view where you can easily customize these fields, right? You can create new fields, hide existing fields, build dependencies, everything, right? So this is a section I created because this was an import company, right? So for import companies, a lot of times you need to track the shipment date, ETA, ETD, mode of transport, carrier number, a bunch of other things, so that your sales team has a clear visibility of when are you expecting to receive the goods, so that they can commit the date to their customers. So that's, you can create a new field as easily as this. So let's say you want a field type of geolocation for some reason. Let's just take this as a use case. And and you also need a field of, let's say, additional date, like some kind of a let's call it shipping date or something like that, right? And update. So just like that, you have added few new fields in your purchase order. Perfect. It is updated. Let's go back to the purchase order. And let's clear the cache as well. So now every time I go to the purchase order, I have the shipping date created, which we just created right now. Right. So adding a custom field, doing basic customizations is extremely easy with the no-code Frappe framework that we have. And through this, typically companies who want to ensure that your sales team is committing the correct dates, you can ensure that your sales team has access to the purchase order report, so that they can know what is the expected date of delivery, expected date of shipment, so that they can ensure that the right delivery date is committed to your end customer. So these reports are also customizable. So a lot of times you might need to know your sales team might need to know a couple of other details. So you can add multiple details, any other details that you may want in this purchase order report, submit, and those fields are now available in this report. And you can save this as a new report. So this could be PO sales report and save. And now this can be made available anytime in one click for you. You can export it as a CSV or directly view it, search it from here. All of that is easily possible. So if I just want to see specific supplier or specific items, all of that is possible. So this is what you see here is the custom reports that I showed you, but there are additional custom reports as well. So if you want to make particular joins or make very sophisticated custom reports, that is possible through a little bit of development, but these kind of things you can do very easily on your own. So we just covered purchase order. Typically for reporting companies, landed cost voucher is also an important feature. So I'll very quickly, I won't go too detail into it, but landed cost voucher enables you to add any other freight or custom duties or any charges to the item valuation. So you can define which particular purchase invoice or purchase receipt requires you to add additional bills that came post facto, add those expenses here, and you can ensure that those values are added to their item valuation, right? So let's go back to the purchase receipt related to the items we just created. This was the purchase receipt. Let's complete the whole billing cycle for this, because this gives me an opportunity to show you the multi-currency billing as well, because the home currency here is INR and the supplier currency is US dollar. So we've ordered 2000 quantity of granules, and let's create a purchase invoice for it. So as soon as I have added the purchase invoice, it will auto fetch all the details from the purchase receipt, save and submit. So now let's make a payment. Create a payment. So while you're making a payment, it will exactly ask you to enter the exchange rate. In fact, when you've posted the bill, it would have fetched real-time exchange rate to post that entry. And you can write your current exchange rate. So let's say the exchange rate for today has changed from 83 to 82. 1 USD is equal to 82 INR. And yeah, I think there might be some mandatory fields maybe. Yeah. Let's just add something here. Save. Submit. So there you go. Along with your payment entry, an exchange gain loss amount has also been booked through a JV. And all of this happen automatically. So you don't need to do additional manual journal entries to post these exchange rate gain loss entries. All of that is automatically booked as soon as your purchase is done or sale is done, etc. So perfect. I think we covered a proper purchase cycle. I'll go quickly now in the interest of time. As far as as far as trading companies are concerned, a lot of time customer, they also want to do things like set credit limit at a customer level, right? The reason companies want to do that is they don't want to send punch a lot of orders against one customer, and then the customer delays their payment or maybe even defaults over their payment. So to avoid all of that, you can set credit limits at a customer level. And you can even set advanced settings like, do you want to bypass this credit limit for sales order so that this credit limit is only applied during the sales invoice, right? So you can ensure that the credit limit is bypassed during sales orders if you want to, etc. You can even have payment reminders. So if your customers are not paying on time, you yourself can set up notifications. I have already set up one, so I'll share that with you. So, or maybe let me create a new one, right? So let's call it payment reminder to out to delayed customers, right? So the channel can be selected based on your choice. You can have any kind of reminder set up here. Let's say the subject, let's select email for now. So payment reminder for, and then, so here you will, in this case, select a sales invoice. And you can send alert on, right? So you can send all of these conditions. So send this alert days after, say, due date. So you want to send this after, say, 90 days of the due date of that sales invoice, right? So that you can be comfortably sure that if something is not paid by then you want to send the reminder. And you can set conditions very easily on your own. So if you want to specific conditions like, oh, the status should be unpaid, maybe another could be like the customer, you want to exclude or whitelist certain customers so that they don't get a notification. All that is very easily possible. So yeah. Any questions? Perfect. Let me quickly show you certain stock reports, very useful stock reports for typical distribution companies. One of them being stock ledger, of course. This gives you a complete overview of all your inward, outward quantities, the respective warehouses, and this has easy search functionality. So you can just write down the name of the item and check out the ledger for that stock. Similarly, there are a bunch of other reports like this is also a very important report called stock projected quantity, very frequently used by our customers. So it gives for each item, let's take the current item we had. It gives what is the current actual quantity in stock, and then what is the reserved quantity. We have a sales order reservation feature where you can reserve quantities, and what is the projected quantity based on the sales order, so that you can always know the difference and plan your procurement in time and in full. And there's also one more visual report called stock summary report. This gives you a visual representation of all your items. So you can search any item or get a visual representation of across all warehouses. What is my current item stock value looking like? Perfect. On the accounting side, I think we didn't cover everything in detail, but all the AP reports, AR reports. Let me show you maybe an example of an account receivable report. So you can easily get who are 30 days past due, right? Who are between 30 to 60, 60 to 90, so that you can, any defaulting customers who are delaying their payments, you can check your risk. In this case, I have test data, so most of these are above 120 days. Hope that's not the case for any business. Great. So I think, yeah, what I'll also quickly show you is the general ledger, because if you're using this as your accounting system, you also need a very robust general ledger. So this is how the master general ledger looks like. You can select the company from here if you have multiple companies. You can filter it by party type. You can filter it for a specific party, which is a name of a customer or a name of a supplier. Filter it by projects and view your general ledger of all your credit debit entries that are happening along with your transactions very easily. And even this is searchable. So if you want to check specific impact on your bank ledger, all the debits and credits for a bank, you just have to hit it here and then view all your vouchers here. Perfect. Any questions? Somebody had raised their hand. Let's pause for a bit for questions before moving to a very quick overview of manufacturing. You can unmute yourself and ask your question if you have one. I think thanks to Umair and Ankita, a lot of questions are answered already in the comments. Great. So should we proceed? Anybody who wants to ask a question can just unmute. Just hit the unmute button and go ahead. Wow, there are no questions. Great. All right, cool. I'll continue with the manufacturing side. So I have a slightly different demo instance for the manufacturing company. We have a demo instance where we are basically a manufacturer of mobile phones. So let me first walk you through the warehouse tree. Usually it's very ideal to see a warehouse in a tree structure. So for this particular Nova Gadget company, this is the warehouse structure. It's a very basic warehouse structure, but you can have a very, very comprehensive multi-level warehouse structure for each of your project locations, or say for each of your location state-wise warehouses, or etc. etc. So I've also created this particular warehouse for subcontracting. So I'll also cover that use case during this next 5 to 10 minutes. Next, I'll show you the BOM list, the bill of material list. Again, a tree view is also useful because in this example, for manufacturing one phone, you're going to be needing a motherboard, which is a sub-assembly item, which is also manufactured in-house. There's a screen which is going to be manufactured through contract manufacturing through a different vendor. Yeah, so this is the bill of material structure that we have in place. So typically for a manufacturing company, there could be your use case could be make to order or make to stock. Both of that can be easily planned and executed through ERPNext. In this example, I have an example of make to order. So let's say I've received a order of roughly 50 phones to be delivered by the end of this month to this particular customer. So this is already an approved sales order. But as you can see, these phones aren't manufactured yet. They are not yet ready and available in the stock. So let's start the manufacturing process for these phones. So typically, if you don't want to do a comprehensive production planning exercise, you can directly create work order from here for your manufacturing cycle. But in this example, I want to show you of how you can create a production plan. So when you create a production plan, you can get items from sales order. You can select the sales order. This is the one 19th, today's 19th, right? So this is the one I had just created for the 50 phones. And the production plan will directly show you that, hey, for this particular good, this is already a default bill of material defined. And in this section, you can get a list of all your sub-assembly items. In this case, we have a motherboard being manufactured in-house, as well as a display being subcontracted through another vendor, right? Next is you will do a material request planning. So you first need to know how much stock you already have, how much do you need to order, all of that, right? So this planning tool gives you a view of all the raw materials required that are already available. And if not available, it will give you a list of orders that you need to place. So clearly there was zero stock available. So which is why we need to place orders of 50 each for all of these raw materials immediately, right? Because none of the stock is available for each of the item. By the way, for doing more accurate material request planning, you can ensure that your safety stock, your available stock, all of that can be ignored or included. All of that can be done through these configurations. Perfect. So let me save this. Okay. I need to select the supplier for the subcontracting. Which supplier? I think it was this. Yeah. Save. So my production plan is created. You can see, you can always track your production plan that, hey, you have, zero total plan versus total production is 0 right now for this particular production plan. And you can also see the progress in this progress tracker, like right now 0 quantities are produced. So the first thing that you would do after creating a production plan is you'll create, first let's create the material requests associated with the goods. So this material request is already created. So this is a material request that has already been created. Let's create a purchase order for it. Right? And let's do a purchase receipt also for it. Perfect. So your material receipt has already been done. All of your raw materials are ordered and already received. So let's go back to your production plan again. So what does it say? It says that, hey, you have material requests are already created. And the next step probably is to go ahead and punch your work order and your subcontracting order. So when I click this, automatically 2 work orders got created, one for the motherboard sub-assembly item and one for the actual finished good iPhone, Nova phone item. And one purchase order got created for display, right? There was a screen item which was actually being contract manufactured. So that is also created. Let's quickly execute these work orders. So in the order of first, let's execute the motherboard manufacturing. So I'll give you a quick overview. I have set up 2 operations here. There are 2 assembly operations, each having their own kind of time setup. I'll define the workstation for it. In this setup, I've defined just one single workstation where I've defined all the costs that would get applied for per unit cost, operational cost that would get applied to the item. Similarly, you can set up the warehouses from which you're going to be receiving the items. Okay, this is the target warehouse. Okay. Perfect. And save. Submit. So you've just created the work order for motherboard, and the status is not started, right? So you can directly execute a work order or create a job cart, assign it to your employees, and so on. So since we have 2 operations defined here, 2 job carts will get created. Okay, quantity to manufacture cannot be greater than quantity. So I think there is some quantity defined in the minimum settings of my operations, which is why I'm not able to think there is a minimum quantity that is required to be set up. Okay, let me just show you some of my executed work orders in the interest of time. So let's look at the motherboard work order, which is actually already completed, which required 2 job cards to be successfully executed, and 2 stock entries, one requiring your material transfer to happen to the manufacturing facility, and one which is a manufacturing stock entry, wherein 2 of your items were consumed to manufacture one single sub-assembly item, right? Similarly, this was the sub-assembly work order. This was the finished good work order. So finished good work order also had the similar entries. There was a material issue done, and then there was a manufacturing entry passed. And since there was a scrap defined in this particular example, we also have certain scrap and the scrap value associated with it, and so on. So yeah, so once your work orders are executed, your production plan will reflect as completed, which means your 50 goods are already produced and you can start selling them. And your operational costs, as well as all of your raw material costs, will get attributed to the item valuation accurately, so that you can determine the right unit profitability of your items as well. So perfect. This was a very short demo of manufacturing. If you have very, very detailed questions, Umair and I can attempt to answer it. But if not, then we can proceed to the next module. So any questions? Let's make it interactive, or else it might end up becoming very one-sided. So please ask questions. Are you able to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, Neha, I've given them rights.
All right. All right, Imtiaz. It is a basic demo.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi, Sharanya.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Yeah.
For example, I have one product as alloy wheel. Okay, that undergoes 5 processes. Okay, so the product of those 5 processes should be as variant items or different items. Should be a variant of the first item, or it should be under different item names.
So if you have five
processes,
five
like
processes,
laser cutting, laser cutting, grinding, welding, etc., and the final tested product. Okay, so I just need to know if these can be as variants.
After each process, are you manufacturing a specific item which gets added into your next process?
No. The single item is getting into multiple processes.
So you don't really need to define additional items for it, right? So all you need to have is your first raw material and then your last finished good item. Unless you have between processes, if you're manufacturing any sub-assembly items in the middle, then you can define them. Or you have scrap items, then you can define them as separate items, not variants. Variants
but there are there are subcontracted products in between. Like all the processes are not in-house. Some processes are subcontracted.
So Neha, can I answer this question?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So Sharanya,
right?
Yeah. Hi. So basically, how we'll tackle this question is that the items, like you will create a template. Like if it is for t-shirt, you create a template, and you can have variants like red t-shirt, blue t-shirt, and for each of these t-shirts, you can create a separate BOM. So you can create a BOM for each of these variants, and each of the variants can have a different process. Like you can define bill of materials, and then you define a production plan. So in the production plan, you define the operations in that. So you can give for assembling, welding, or anything what you want to define. So, and each of these operations can be in-house or it can be subcontracted also. So that also you can do.
Yeah, but even if it is subcontracted or in-house, like all these come under a single BOM or multiple BOMs.
It will be defined here.
All the processes.
So see, this is a specific
single operation.
So Sharanya, I think you have a very specific question. Depending upon, I may have to ask you a lot more questions to answer it. But one long story short, since we have a multi-level BOM feature, you don't really need to define multiple BOMs for each of the items, is what I can right now answer you. But we'll need more information. Maybe you can register for tomorrow's ERPNext Q&A session, which happens with our functional expert, and then you There it's purely Q&A, 1 hour of Q&A. So you can ask your specific context question and then somebody will help you answer on how it needs to be configured for your industry, your use case.
Yeah, fine.
So, Shania, one more thing that in
Yeah.
a BOM creator itself in ERPNext, you can create a multi-level BOM, and in the
Yeah.
multi-level BOM, you can have an in-house item, you can have a subcontracted item, or it can be a sub-assembly item. So you can define it,
Okay.
but you don't need to create multiple BOMs. That is already there in ERPNext, that one BOM can be at a multi-level. So you don't need to create multiple BOMs
Okay,
for each
fine.
of them. You can define it in the production plan itself.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks
but
both
if
of
you
you.
have any further questions, as Neha mentioned, you can raise the issue for tomorrow's session.
Sure, sure. Thanks. Thanks both of you.
So Ankur also has a question. I think for steel, sand, casting and foundry industry. So I don't know specifically this industry, but be it discrete or process manufacturing, in both of those contexts, ERPNext is heavily used. We have customers across both of these types of manufacturing. So Ankur, I don't see a reason. I think don't specifically remember your industry customers that we have, but we have multicolor steel. We have pressy hole instruments. Many of them build either steel goods or do some kind of a process or discrete manufacturing through using ERPNext. So you can maybe speak with, maybe write to us through our contact us page. Ankita can share a link on the comment section.
Sure.
You can
Sure.
specifically share your requirement and our sales team will get back to you with the right partner for implementation.
Also, Ankur, one more thing that I think what you are looking for is basically export. You're trying to resolve your business operations for export purposes and also retail, because you have a machine shop as well. So basically, what you're looking for ERPNext is export and retail. So both of these can be managed through ERPNext. So as Neha said, that I'll share the link with you for our contact us page. So you can reach out to us so we can understand your use case even more elaborately. Thank you.
Okay, Neha, I have one question regarding this scenario. If you want to give a warranty to your motherboard, not the whole phone, so where we can mention the warranty part of the motherboard. For example, if you are selling a phone, you don't give a warranty to whole phone, but you just have a warranty of one item, which is motherboard.
So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
So let's actually take this example only. Let's open the motherboard item that we had created. So this was a sub-assembly item, right? So you can define warranty for a sub-assembly item as well. So to do that, you'll have to first, you can define the warranty period. You can even have your serial number added so that you can track your own warranty dates on your side. So in your case, do you want to track the warranty period given by your supplier, or are you creating the warranty period and are you the OEM?
I'm giving the warranty period to my customer.
Got it. So in that case, you don't even have any other dependency. You can set up your warranty period in days. So as soon as your product is sold, the warranty is already created. And then we have a warranty claim management list as well. So anytime somebody comes to you saying that, hey, I want to claim my warranty on a motherboard, the entire journey of creating, claiming, and paying, if it is not under warranty period, all of that is also possible to handle in ERPNext. Hope this was helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, any other questions? We've not covered other modules. So we also have the project module where you can create multiple projects and tasks within it and ensure that you even allocate your invoices and track project level P&L. All of that is possible very easily. I'll maybe show you an example of of a project that I have. I just have one task in that project because this is a sample project. So you can visualize your projects in a Kanban view or a calendar view, and have interdependent projects created. So because some of you mentioned you're from the services industry like construction or consulting, projects module is really important because you want to ensure all of your buying and selling transactions are happening, and even your inventory is managed against project locations. So that is easily possible with ERPNext. In fact, if you also want to, if you have use cases where you want to fill in timesheets, so that and link them to projects, all of that is also possible.
So Neha, I have an attached question to my warranty part question. If I produce any item in this month, for example, I produce an item in month of June and I sold that item in somewhere around December or in November or December, the warranty period starts from December. So how we can track those warranties?
So you're saying that you want to track two, uh, say two warranties, or maybe two dates. One is maybe as soon as the item is manufactured or maybe procured from that date onwards, and then one is after it is sold, right?
Yes, yes. One.
So from what I know, I think the warranty period is after it is sold, from what I remember. But you can have shelf life, or you can have a custom field created in your item master called called maybe manufactured, like date since manufactured or days since manufactured, and that counter can increase every day, and you can have a track of that as well. So that might require some customization. You can just create a custom field and track that date separately.
Okay.
Sales warranty and manufacturing warranty.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? So since we have some, I don't think we have the time, but I'll quickly also show you the users and roles and permission manager that we have. So whenever you add a new user in the system, you can give extremely granular access to only specific modules to that particular to that user. So there are all of these out of the box defined roles that exist, and each role has access to specific modules. Either through that you can do that, or you can have specific field level access control as well. So I won't go too much into the detail, but I just thought since we have some time, I can introduce that to you. All right, let me quickly talk about Frappe Cloud. So I'll open up the website of Frappe Cloud, and this can be the last 2-3 minutes, and then we can focus on pure Q&A. So Frappe Cloud is a hosting platform for all Frappe applications, including ERPNext. It is a very hassle-free hosting option, and the pricing starts as low as in INR, it is as low as 820 onwards. But in let me just show USD value as well, so that other people can also see it. So the pricing starts from as low as $10 per month. And we have a compute-based module, a compute-based pricing structure. So which means we are not going to charge you for each module or per user. You are only going to be charged based on the resources that you utilized, which is your CPU, database, and storage. So from what we know, we have users, up to 50 users who are on just the $50 per month plan, which is hardly 50,000 per year. So compared to any other SAP, Odoo, or maybe any other tool that might be out there in the market, this becomes significantly lower recurring fee, because even though many of them call themselves open source, they still have a per user per month fee, which doesn't really get any benefit of open source. But with Frappe Cloud, you get the true benefits of open source, and you can get compute based pricing. And just to list down a bunch of features in Frappe Cloud, you can easily install not just ERPNext, but any number of applications in one site, which means in a $50 site, you can get Frappe Insights, you can get HR, you can get ERPNext, you can get multiple apps, right? And installation is super easy. It's like a 5-click process. You just have to click 5 buttons and your site is ready for you to use. You get easy upgrades. So we keep shipping new updates, fixes, features weekly. So you can get updates. We have a backup feature. So you're always on automatic local backups are available, as well as offsite backups for disaster recovery are always available. You can monitor your site performance, uptime, anything that is leading to performance issues, and even optimize your database utilization through the monitoring features we have. And then you can even have custom apps built. So you can basically have a build and deploy custom apps directly from your GitHub repository. You can have multiple environments, like through private benches, you can have a test or a production environment and a bunch of other things. I won't go too detailed into it. And just to point out some benefits, you get support from Frappe. You get access to the support portal where you can ask support queries and get any bugs fixed that might be replicable in all instances. If it's a very unique customization, that is hard to support, but we'll still try and support it. You can go through our website and check out all the security features, scalability, reliability features as well, and so on. And some of you mentioned that you're interested in partnerships. So we do have a very thriving and growing partner ecosystem. We already have 180 plus partners. If you want to register for a partnership, you can just go to frappe.io, /partners, and click on become a partner, fill a small form, and we'll get back to you. Our team will get back to you. But if you are a customer looking for a partner in your region, just click on find a partner, select your country. Let's say you're from Germany, and you'll be able to see all the partners in your region. We have a bunch of partners in UAE. India is probably the largest, and each of the partner is graded as gold, silver, bronze. So you can pick any and reach out to them. You can keep us in the loop or directly reach out to them. Both of them is fine. If you want to reach out to us, just contact on that link provided by Ankita. All right. Great. A lot of you have still stayed in, even though we are 10 minutes over time. Any other questions? So after you end this call, you'll receive a feedback form. Please do share your feedback on this webinar, anything that can help us improve the format or the speed or anything of this for this webinar. And we'll definitely appreciate your feedback.
So I've already shared the feedback form in the webinar chat as well. So just spare a few minutes and share your feedback, because it will help us to improve in our upcoming sessions as well. And if you want to visit, be part of our upcoming sessions, you can just visit us at frappe.io/events. All the upcoming events are visible over there. So you can join in whichever you find interesting. Also, thank you, Neha, for that presentation. It was really insightful. So, and thank you everyone for joining in. And thank you, Umair, also to be part of this. It is really helpful with a person of your experience to join the webinar, because then then the attendees actually get a lot of insights. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. The recording will be available on the same link that you used to join the call, as well as it will be put up on YouTube very soon. So you can attend, you can view the recording anytime. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for your time.